name is Aleks Buczkowski, and this is Geoawesome Talk, show about everything geospatial, Earth observation, and drones. My guest on the show today is Dino Ravnic, who is the founder and CEO of GIS Cloud. We've known each other with Dino for probably over a decade now, and this discussion that I also had with a lot of people from the industry, which means that it's probably quite a big pain point for all of us. And this topic is pricing and licensing policies of legacy GIS software vendors such as Esri that are probably easy to enter, but then when you want to scale and really implement your GIS solution on the enterprise level, it starts to be very expensive and very complicated. But before we'll get to the core topic, let me ask Dino to introduce himself and tell a little bit about his background and also what is GIS Cloud?
Sure. Thank you, Alex. It's great to be with you here. Yeah, we know each other for a long time, and it's an interesting topic to cover. So yeah, I'm Dino Ravnic. I'm a co-founder and CEO of GIS Cloud. So we're a company providing software as a service, Geospatial Cloud, which enables companies to manage their location data from field to the office in real time. So we are one of the first companies that started, let's say, the revolution of GIS into the cloud, where we're changing the game, not just in workflows, but as well in business models and how we approach the market. So yeah, one fun fact, when we kind of started, and we started a while ago, you want to name your company about .com domain you can find, right? And we were like searching how we will call our company, and then we entered in the search engine for domains GIS Cloud, and we found it as a free floating domain. So we actually got it for $10, which was great, right? It's the best domain to have if you want to do what we do. But it also said that back in the day, and that was, I believe, 2008 or so, nobody was thinking about having GIS in the cloud or why it should move in the cloud. So I'm kind of interested to discuss about the legacy as well, about the cloud and how actually we can match the two in today's workflows. So my background is in engineering. I'm a computer science guy, and I started the business with my partner where we tackled some core technologies like map engine, map rendering, performance. So these were like my drivers of not why GIS was expensive, but why it was slow and inefficient when dealing with data. And that was one of my motivations to tackle those hard challenges, like inventing vector tiles and taking a different approach, what was done back in the day. And now it kind of evolved into a business and a product line that helps companies to manage data on the field, to manage in the office, and provide really rich cloud capabilities for GIS.
So before we will get to our core discussion, so where you are in this vision of putting GIS into the cloud, where you are, and maybe what to expect from you guys in the upcoming months or perhaps years to come.
Well, I mean, our vision and our belief is that GIS and its true potential will actually be realized in the cloud, just because people can collaborate around data in a much easier and more scalable fashion. Before, and I would even dare to say today, GIS is a bit on the side, and only specialized people know how to use it or use it. The workflows where you need to integrate your process with people that are non-professionals, like people on the field, decision makers, the external stakeholders, the public. This is all still very much disconnected. So the cloud is, let's say, a very universal and a friendly and an easy way to access to data, but as well to contribute to data, where you can receive information from outside in a super simple fashion. This is where we believe that GIS will actually be not just something on the side, but a central piece of data and technology in an organization that manages location data, where such data is crucial information for them, right? If it's like infrastructure for utility, that's a crucial data for utility.
All right. So now, coming to the core of our discussion. So why is GIS that expensive? Maybe I will let you share a couple of your points, and I will add on the top of what you say some of my observations as well.
Yeah, I mean, we need to kind of look at the history where GIS actually started, and it came from academic and science circles, right? And then the idea of GIS is huge, and when you look at the impact on the world and organizations and how you manage the world, and of course, the world is being managed by lots of public sector, government, and such organizations where they utilize such technology. And this was, let's say, one of the first markets where GIS was pitched to, and where it was actually trying to solve some hard challenges. So I believe it's because of starting with enterprises and with public sector and with large organizations. It's today, let's say, it's enterprise type of software, right? And it's no different in terms of the price or how you sell it versus SAP, Microsoft, IBM. All these kind of softwares, if you are selling them to enterprises, there is a certain, let's say, price attached and go-to-market strategy, and of course, cost of sales. Everything has to be calculated, which at the end determines the price or go-to-market strategy for a vendor.
Yeah, so probably as a bit of clarification, right? Because the actual entry barrier, if you want to start using GIS as a very small team to solve simple tasks, I mean, you can use QGIS or other open source tools, or the entry barrier for tools like ArcGIS is also not that huge. But if you want to scale it, if you want to move it to the cloud, if you want to do some large scale processing of huge data sets, this is where it gets complicated, right? And this is where the cost of licenses or the cost of building your custom solutions on the top of open source starts to be a significant cost that not every team that could benefit from GIS and geospatial solutions or location intelligence solutions is able to do or can afford to use. But one of the things that we've discussed as well was and you've touched it in your earlier point, is that those legacy GIS companies, they don't have incentive to change their business model. That is still based on all those government contracts that have been won many years ago, and now they keep the maintenance going and running, and actually changing the business model, making it all more affordable to other types of organizations, to startups, to smaller enterprises. It could ruin the original business where they are making most of their revenues. So there is basically, they have no incentive to change it, which is a pity, because a lot of great things could be done, and a lot of great questions could be answered with geospatial data if this would not be the case. But let's be a bit maybe positive as well here. So what is the alternative, right? So basically, how to make GIS more affordable if you cannot really spend those millions for enterprise licenses and all of those engines?
Well, I mean, the cloud changes a bit the game because it makes GIS scalable. So you can really start small, and I mean, with GIS Cloud, with some of our basic plans, you can start from $30 a month per person for collecting data, which is a low entry price to establish a system, and you don't have to have servers, you don't have to invest a lot upfront. You basically get started in 5 minutes. So that's a huge difference in barrier of entry, because you really have only the cost of that one subscription per month. That is, let's say, your risk in exploring or investing into GIS. So it really changes the game, because it makes lots of these, let's say, small, medium organizations, give them access to GIS, to give them a way to explore it, to use it, to have a feel what GIS can do for them. Before, it was something that was not possible to do, because you would need to, let's say, invest a lot upfront and then hope you will get some results and that your investment will come back. If it's something that you're maybe exploring, or you want to try it out, but you don't have, let's say, a feeling for it. So that's, I think, the difference, where GIS can be now approachable, and we have like clients that maybe are not a traditional GIS user, but GIS is now their main tool or main software that they are using. And it's interesting, because before they would never consider using GIS, because they didn't actually they don't even know that GIS exists as let's say, category of software. But as well, for large organizations, I mean, it's about scaling. Your demands will change. You want to get more people involved, not just with performance in servers, but also all the costs involved. So cloud or let's say approach of having something more scalable in terms of price, in terms of a business model, is also, I think, crucial in making adoption of GIS more successful in an organization. So you don't want to be locked in a silo where your data is locked, or you don't want to not have a way to access the data to other people because you don't have enough budget for it. Now we have this approach where you can go up and down with your licenses even on a monthly basis. Let's say when you're doing data collection, you can increase number of licenses. Let's say in the spring when you go out, when you don't collect data in a period, let's say winter, you can go down with your licenses. You can really play around and actually get the most of your investment.
So we spoke about like different deployment models that could be used by enterprises to implement their enterprise-grade GIS system, right? And we've identified, besides going into very expensive legacy solutions, so one of the alternatives is to go fully open source, right? Then, for example, QGIS, and then building on the top with some custom applications based on, again, open source components for the online collaboration. And there are some great libraries, there are some great possibilities, but it takes time to actually do that, to implement it, right? So it is probably easier to say than do. And then there is the second alternative, which is this hybrid model, right? So basically, for whatever offline analysis that you need to do, you use, for example, QGIS or other open source desktop software. But for everything that you need to collaborate on or do in the cloud or share the data with different stakeholders, you actually use a tool like what you guys offer and kind of integrate it all into a certain process or framework. So how easy it is to do that? How easy it is to actually create a working hybrid environment of that sort?
Yeah, it's actually very easy, and this is how we are seeing, let's say, the market, and where it's not that you need to go, that the cloud is the only solution, but it's not about replacing everything with the cloud, and it's not a necessity. I believe as well. When we are looking at what we want to do in GIS Cloud and how we are actually evolving our product, you are always evolving it regarding the feedback of your customers, of your users, and most of the users, let's say 80% of them, even more, they don't require a complex GIS functionality in the cloud. They're not asking for it even. They want to have better tools for collaborating data, better ways of sharing data, easier access, faster performance, so they can get things done efficiently. And this is where that hybrid approach, where you can do, like you said, collaboration in the cloud and expose GIS to more people and get them involved in the process of collaborating around data and contributing. While if you need analysis or if you need a specialized tool, something that is very, very specific, you can use QGIS, which is a great tool on a desktop. And that approach is something that I would say is the best, because you're getting best of both worlds. Because if you have a great tool like QGIS, but no ways of sharing that information with others, or saying, okay, you need to install QGIS and then load these maps and projects into your desktop, and the other person never knew GIS, and they are getting scared with the toolbar, right? What QGIS can do. So it's too complex for them. So yeah, a way where you have, let's say, a cloud platform for non-professionals, for people that are not GIS users by default, but business users, and have, let's say, powerful or professional GIS users in QGIS. They can both communicate together easily with the cloud. We have in GIS Cloud built like publishers, where you can publish your data from QGIS to GIS Cloud and have your maps and symbology published online with a single click. But as well, there is a WFS server where you can actually connect from QGIS to GIS Cloud and work on the data source, on the data, which is then centralized on the cloud. So basically, you're all contributing to the same centralized data set. Somebody's working from QGIS, somebody's working from a web, or somebody's working from a mobile.
Okay, so it actually sounds pretty doable. Maybe with the support of you guys. But
it's actually something you can set up, configure. We have lots of use cases with those kind of workflows and lots of experience.
And you guys offer also QGIS plugin, right?
Yeah, there is like a free plugin on QGIS called GIS Cloud Publisher, and it gives you a way to publish your maps with a single click. And as well, when you have any changes in QGIS, you can push them in the cloud. So the idea is, if you build lots of rich maps in QGIS and you spend a lot of time on your symbologies, and you want to now share that map in a cloud environment, then you have to rebuild it from scratch, because it's an effort, right? So we made this super easy way to make it online.
Okay, all right. Dino, thank you so much for the discussion and sharing your thoughts. We will be working probably on a blog post that will summarize a little bit of the thoughts that we had during this talk and many other that we had in the past, to share a little bit our thoughts on the price aspects of GIS and implementing it on an enterprise level. So I invite all of you to actually stay tuned for this post. We'll definitely link it to this video. And in the meantime, Dino, it was a pleasure as always. And we look to see even more awesomeness, Geoawesomeness coming from you guys.
Thank you, Alex, as well. Great talking to you, and it was interesting topic to cover and something that I believe we will continue as a discussion. So look forward to that.
Thanks, everyone.